Welcome to the My Annuity Store podcast. I'm your host, Ryan McGee, Vice President of Sales over at My Annuity Store. And today we have a treat. Jason Caudill, the president of My Annuity Store, is going to join us for today's podcast. So thanks for joining us, Jason.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad I brought you on here because I know we've had a lot of one-on-one conversations over the past few weeks as it regards to the position where interest rates are going. And I can speak from experience. I speak to our clients every single day, and everything comes top of mind is, hey, Ryan, when are these rates are going to drop? You think they're going to get better? And I always have a couple people trying to hold out for another 6% plus return. And you and I are starting to take a deep dive in this topic. And what we're finding is there's a lot of good input coming from the media, the administration, Chairman Powell himself, kind of going to give us the tea leaves, maybe where annuity rates are going to be falling. I'm not sure if you caught it, Jason, but Chairman Powell, he's kind of made a statement in terms of he's taken a very cautious stance amid the tariff uncertainty. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he said basically he's still waiting on some more information for the economic outlook. He doesn't think it's really quite ready to sustain expansion right now. And so with the ongoing trade tensions and the tariffs, he's signaling that he's not going to push any rates downwards until data clarifies that.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. I had something in my notes earlier this week. I was talking with a client. I'm not sure if you caught it, but the Federal Reserve Board this past June, and also I think it was cited in the Wall Street Journal, that Powell was warning against overreacting to the tariffs and uncertainty. And don't hold me to it, but I think he kind of quoted something similar. We will closely monitor the implications of incoming information for the economic outlook, and it will act as appropriate to sustain the expansion. I had that noted there, and it looks like he's kind of putting his foot down. I know President Trump and Chairman Powell have not been seeing eye to eye here lately, interpreting the economic data. So we're kind of seeing a little bit of political pressure, really coming from President Trump's criticism of Powell. What do you think
I would
about
say
that?
a little. I would say a little is to say the least. Yeah, he called him, stupid for pushing the rate cut and said it's going to be too little, too late. So Powell's definitely got a hard job right now, but I think he's seeing more political pressure than any other, Federal Reserve agent than I can remember.
Yeah, I think President Trump, he even said, Powell should drop rates now. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
two
every other
percent.
day you're hearing the sound bites of his frustration, because he's viewing in the point of the golden era of America, and Chairman Powell is dead center in the roadblock for his initiatives. And I think
Yeah,
that
I know
kind of
Trump had mentioned, a couple of times about homeowners that it'd be a lot easier for people to own a home, so he's trying to get their rates down. But yeah, so we can go on to I think that there's another story on C-SPAN um, where Powell was drilled in front of the Senate about a week ago, and so he faced some tough questions from the Senate Banking Committee, along with lawmakers demanding that he clarify the Fed strategy. So, um, yeah, he's getting it from all angles.
Yeah, I mean, Chairman Paul is in a tough spot, and I think he was made even a comment about his commitment to the dual mandate, and he seems to be digging his heels in. Jason, he said he would not be swayed by short-term political considerations. So I think we're definitely at a head here between President Trump and Chairman Powell. Really, what's the right course for federal policy that relates to the interest rates? I know in our industry it's been very favorable during the rate increases in the fixed annuity world. But I think the tea leaves are telling me that we're going to start probably seeing some rate reductions in the upcoming months, or even maybe Q1 at the latest in 2026, based off a lot of the economic data and market expectations we've been reading about. What's your interpretation where the economic data and the market expectations? I know you follow that closely.
Yeah, so I I mean it says the inflation's still above the 2% Fed rate target rate, but job growth is slowing. So the last thing I read, actually, here said in Barron's, 60%, the futures market is pricing in a 60% chance of a rate cut in September. So I think if I had to guess, I wouldn't say there's going to be a decrease, but I mean, with the way he's getting it hammered from every side, it's a possibility. But I would say we don't see a rate cut this time in July.
I think you're spot on with that. And I'd love to hear some of our input from our followers as well. If you are taking our interpretation of the data as maybe forward looking and really looking at it, the Fed, is it really, are they really being too cautious? Or you think the markets are just being pushed by the politicians, for unnecessary risk? I mean, both have huge implications if one of them are wrong. And based on a lot of the research that we've been conducting, it looks like it's a heads up.
Yeah, yeah, and you got two strong, will-powered men, so it could go either way. But hopefully, whatever the right decision is what's the one that gets made.
Well, I think time will tell, and I think ABC News actually made a comment on this. They said they won't rule out any policy action in our next meeting, which is, I think it's coming up today or tomorrow, the time this is being shot. And really, the data will guide us to, and really not the headlines. And that's how we operate. Wouldn't you agree, Jason?
Yeah, yeah. I would just say though, if you think about buying an annuity, I wouldn't really expect rates to go up. My guess is if Powell can withstand the pressure this time, um, that certainly by the time the September rate meeting comes around, that Trump and the rest of them will probably have, he probably would have felt enough pressure that I would probably say a rate decrease in September, but that's just my guess. But yeah, I wouldn't expect any rate increases.
Well, I guess a little tip from us, we're the annuity experts here. And what we found is a lot of people are not familiar with the rate locks when it comes to these type of products. So quickly how a rate lock works when it looks at the fixed annuity world. I know you know this, Jason, but I just want to share this for those who are listening, maybe are not familiar with. Because if you fill out an application today and it gets approved, you're not obligated to fund that policy. But what that one thing that does for you, it allows you to kind of straddle the fence. If the rates would actually go higher, which looks unlikely what we're reading, but you would get the higher rate. And if things get pared back from Chairman Powell, maybe within the next 60 days of funding, and they drop, your rate's preserved. So you're going to be able to get the higher rate than it would be currently available just by seeking being proactive. And that's kind of what we do over here at My Annuity Store, is offer coaching, education, and resources to help you back your financial decisions. I know that's something you're very passionate about, Jason.
Yeah, no, that was a good point. I wouldn't have thought to mention that, but that's a good little tidbit to kind of sneak that in. If you're thinking about maybe moving, you could always lock it in for at least 30 days. So yeah, appreciate you
Yep.
having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Just we want to share that little bit of pro tip from one of the experts, the god of annuities, so to speak, Jason Caudell.
Oh yeah, yeah. I respect my elders, so that was all you. But
Oh, thank you.
uh,
That
I'll,
takes me. Yeah, you cut me deep.
all
But
right, Ryan.
yeah,
Thanks for having
well, I
me.
appreciate you joining us today.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
All right, have a good one.